All right. If everyone could mute themselves, that'd be amazing. And I'm going to get started. Welcome, everyone. My name is Melinda Samberson, and I'm the Vice President of Programs and Resources for Texas PTA. We are so excited that you're here investing in your Reflections program for your local campus and maybe for your council. Please know that we're here to support you in any way that we can, and we're excited that you guys we're
I can't
excited to
hear.
hear about the creative things that you guys are going to be doing on your campus. Um, Also know that by providing this wonderful national PTA program, you are supporting your students and you are engaging them and their families and fulfilling our mission, which is to make every child's potential a reality by engaging and empowering our families and communities to advocate for all children. And as you know, we are a membership organization that advocates. And so that membership piece is important, and showing value in our membership is important. And we're just thankful for your role in that as we all work together as a team to promote the Reflections program and our membership and our advocacy efforts, because by increasing our membership, we know that we are increasing and making our voice at the state level stronger as we advocate for all children. And so thank you so much from our team, that we are grateful for you and the work that you are doing at your local schools. Now I want to introduce Risa Ginther. She is our Arts and Ed gal, and we are excited to have her present for us. Risa has been a director at large. She was director at large last term, and she is director at large this term, and her focus will be on the Arts and Ed role for Texas PTA. She works closely with our programs manager, Carrie Mays, to run the Reflections program for the state. She's been involved in Reflections for 10 years, first starting at Rutledge Elementary in Leander ISD all those years ago. One thing I love about Risa is that she is passionate about the arts and is going to help us all embrace the role of arts and what that can do in our communities. So thanks for sharing, Risa. I'll hand it over to you.
Hello, everybody, and thank you, Melinda. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today. I just wanted to thank actually Texas PTA staff, Megan and Carrie and Rosemary, for your countless hours of work. Without you, Texas PTA's program is not success, so your backbone. So thank you so very much. So let's move on to our lunch and learn. So the slide that we will see, you will see Georgia O'Keeffe's quote. So I just want you to take just a few seconds to read that. So Georgia O'Keeffe describes here arts as her language. And this is why Reflections program is so meaningful. The arts are critical to the learning process and equal partners in education. The Reflections program provides an opportunity for students to explore and express themselves through arts. So today, we will learn about a few things. So, but lots going on, so just stay tuned, and your question will be answered. Carrie will be monitoring your questions, and we also leave some time toward the end of the presentation, and so that you could ask questions as well. All right, so Melinda really described so well about our mission. So I just wanted to go over just a little bit more. Remember, we are Reflections Chair or Arts in Education Chair, as Arts in Education Chair. However, we are PTA member, and we are committed ourselves to fulfill Texas PTA and National PTA's mission. and honor and value by serving the role you have. As Melinda described, the Texas PTA's purposes are several purposes. By providing reflections program, we are fulfilling that values and purpose. For example, reflections brings the family engagement. Reflections also, especially now, the time right now, a lot of children are looking for places to engage and for the mental health, mental status. So the arts brings the healings and hope. And so the program like reflection is very valuable right now. So I want to know how many of you know this is the perfect week to promote the reflections program. It is the Arts in Education Week. So even though it is toward the end of the week right now, let's continue to celebrate the arts. We know arts impact more than children's creativity, but also academic performance and their engagement in school. But my most favorite thing is to problem solving skills. By providing the access to art, it's so important. Did you know Reflections program just turned 51 years old? So as you see, it was created by the PTA volunteer, just like us in Colorado. And the program has touched nearly 300,000 students from pre-K all the way to 12th grade each year. And Reflection is one of the nation's oldest and largest student recognition program in the art. So we should all be proud to be a part of this great legacy. So let's talk about the planning the program. First things first, we cannot do things by ourselves. So reach out and get the team. There are many of them. We have a different gifts. Each of us have a different gift. So hand it out. Those who are good at specific areas, they can do and lighten your load. I would like us to now walk through some way to organize your calendar. Here is a sample, a timeline. So Texas PTA's due is always January 15th. So this year, and at 5 o'clock. This year, it's on Friday, January 15, 2021. So local leaders, please backtrack and make sure to contact Council PTA and find out their due dates and determine your due date at least 4 weeks prior. And Council Chair, please communicate your deadline to your local coordinators. So as you can see, September, October, we will be just pushing the promotion. And especially this week, maybe this weekend, it'll be a great time for kids to start thinking about what they want to do. By end of October, I would like to encourage you to start looking at the due date to set. And then Council PTA would be doing their collection so that the local will have a little bit of break. But make sure that you will keep track of the entries. The Council PTA might have the judging date in December or November, and then January, Council will be sending the entries to the state level. In spring, it's time to celebrate. So locals and Council, you can start celebrating. And Texas PTA hosts the award ceremony, usually in spring or early summer. All right, but don't worry, there is resource resources, and tools. Here's this website, the Texas PTA Reflections web page. You can find all those tools and resources. If you don't want to download all the rules and guidelines for students, you can share the eligibility and participation link for student and family to download themselves. Coordinators will also find tools and resources in the leaders resource and promotion material. You saw it in the earlier slide in the dark blue area that you can click and everything is there. But better yet, you just saw the peak of our checklist. So checklist will help you to navigate the program step by step. One for local chair and the other one for council chair. So if you are the first timer, just go step by step and you would be good to go. But remember, you do need a team. So National and Texas PTA prepared this guide for how you can conduct the virtual reflections program, now available on our website. You can find this material in the leader resource page. There are many great tips and ideas here. I think virtual meeting brought us possibility to reach out more people, just like we are doing it right now. Council chairs, you can have a meeting and to help local leaders to conduct the reflections program. Also, you can conduct the meeting with a student and help them fill the forms. So there are numerous possibilities that you can utilize social medias and also the virtual meetings. One of the things that I also wanted to share is that local and council PTA levels are welcome to collect entries digitally. So traditionally, we would have been at school and maybe leave in the box or something like that, and then have students come by and drop off their entries. This year would be different. So welcome to use virtual, the digital entry collection. However, Texas PTA would like to receive physical entries. So those who are council leaders, so you just have to collect the last 30 entries to move it on to the Texas PTA. Right. So also though, just wanted to remind you, please be flexible so that you can accommodate whatever the needs a student or family need. So this is the program that we want to encourage everybody. We don't want to discourage anybody. All right. So let's talk about this year's theme. As you already know, this year's theme is I Matter Because. Does anybody know how the theme is selected each year? Let me tell you about National PTA Reflections theme search. As you browse PTA Reflections page, you will find the theme search page. You see the national theme search for 2022 and 2023 has already started. This is actually another fun way for students to participate in reflections. Texas PTA select 5 themes each year to send the national PTA. This means this year's theme, I Matter Because, was selected in 2018. I want to tell you the story behind this theme. Riley Steyer from Bernie, California, then a first grader, drew inspiration from her town and towns around her being completely wiped out by California wildfires. Well, speaking of wildfire, it is also going on right now. But Riley's inspiration was in 2018. So the selection of her theme brought hope and pride back to her community. So that's how the theme was selected. Though the theme was selected in 2018, the message, the expression being so close to the current social issues of social justice movement, the National PTA carefully considered the concerns and the feedback from many. And so please refer to the video message by President-elect Anna King. And Carrie will put the link in the chat. So I would like to move on as to talk about eligibility of participation. So it is very important that you work closely with your local board members to check the status of your PTA. To sponsor Reflections program, the campus has to attain active status no later than October 31st. So if you're not familiar with what is active status, check this link, or you can talk to your board members and make sure that your PTA has remit state and national membership due of at least 20 members, and also submit a name at least, and contact information of the current board. I hope your PTA has submitted more than one person, but that is the requirement to be on the active status. All right, so let's move on. Another eligibility that we would require is that student or one of the member of their family is the Texas PTA member. So if a student is a grade level and their parents or guardians or whoever lives in their household member would be a Texas PTA. So your job would be, when the student turn in their entries, to be sure those two places, to check those two places that you see it is on the slide. And if you see the student entry form says, I need to join PTA, let's consider this as an opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to become a PTA ambassador, to invite them to be a member. Reflections program is for all students of all grade. We don't want to turn anybody down. So even if they are not member, let's make this an opportunity. All right, so let's talk about what grade can we run the program for? Well, as I mentioned, the program is for all students. However, if you feel overwhelmed, like I can only handle the few students, you are welcome to customize your program. For example, you might want to just target third grade above, or you just want to target the first graders. However, even if your school decided to run program that way, if anybody else turn in the entries, please do not to turn it down and accept it and let it move on. All right. So as you see, our division, the Texas PTA and National PTA, divide into the groups of 5 groups. So primary grade from pre-K to second, intermediate, as you can see, third grade to fifth grade, the middle school level and high school level, and the special artists. So they're not divided. If they turn entries as a special artist, they are not divided within the group of special artists. So I would like to talk a little bit more about the special artist. When it comes to special artists, there are few guidelines that we need to pay attention to. You can read more about it in the participation guideline, but as you can see, when the student can decide whether to participate as a traditional grade division or special artist. And when the parent prepare the student form and parent signatures is on as a special artist, there is no extra document needed for the proof. So parent signature is the proof. All right. Now I would like to move on to talk about the art category. There are 6 art categories. You are welcome to customize. Once again, you might just want to run the visual art reflections. But I would encourage you to open up all the way to 6 because you will never know. The student will surprise you what talent they have. And it is such a joy to see so many varieties of art coming in. So, like I mentioned about the grade, it's the same way for the art category. Let's say that your school decided to just do the film, but somebody decided to enter visual art entries. If there is only 1 entries, you can advance it to the council level. And please do not discourage them and just let them turn in their art. If you decided to do just 1 and then somebody else has done something else. But I will encourage you to do all 6, like I mentioned. All right, okay, so let's see. Something great about Reflections program is that student is not limited to just pick 1 category. They can submit as many artwork in 1 category or as many categories. So one student can do 6 photography entries or can do 2 of each or 1 of each in all 6 categories. So it's unlimited. So for them, it's an unlimited imagination opportunity. There are a few reminders about each category, so let's talk about that few. So I'd like to talk about photography or visual art. They're a little tricky. Okay, so let me just give you a little time to go through these 6 categories. All right, here you are. Okay, so Texas PT, this is a specific to Texas PTA. We are accepting 2-dimensional arts only. So please remember the 2-dimensional art is not in a glass frame or thick, nice wood frame when they submit. Because we cannot guarantee those beautiful frame would be safe to be together with 100 others of entry when you collect it. And also, if it comes to the state Texas level, we always have over 900 entries. So having those glass or frames, it is not safe also for that we cannot guarantee that the frame would be intact or the glass could break. So for many reasons that we discourage you that those not be used. If a student submit a sculpture, it is not a part of our art category. However, National PTA accept the 3D. As I mentioned, Texas PTA only accepting a two-dimensional. So have a student take photos so that they can be included in the reflections entries. However, it is up to the chair. You can celebrate those sculptures entries at the local level. So speaking of the photography, I would like to talk about the photographies and visual art a little bit more. So which is which? As you can see in this slide, if there are many prints, the photo prints are put them together by gluing on a sheet of paper, those are considered to be a visual art. Also, if there is any writing with the extra material on the photograph, those are also considered as the visual art. However, on the right side, it is described that there are one seamless print, different images, but it's a one seamless print that is considered as a photography. So it's a little bit tricky, but I hope it clarifies that your questions. Okay, so let's move on to promoting the program. So utilizing social media and the local artists, it's something that we can do. In the past, it would have been much harder. We have to accommodate everybody's time to meet, accommodate the time for the artist to show up. But with the Zoom call, we might be able to invite some great artists from local area. Also, some ideas is the master class with an artist in the specific areas. This one is also, you might be able to reach out to somebody you have never imagined across the state, from far away, or even beyond the state. And you can invite some well-known artists to some tip or inspirational moment. And don't forget to share your great ideas on social media, and let's be connected. And you can use the hashtag PTA reflections and all those your schools, and so that everybody knows what is going on and we are celebrating the arts. You will be busy next 2 weeks promoting the program, and soon October will arrive. So here are some flyers, the great looking flyers that Texas PTA has provided. You can put all these information or as little information as you wish and promote your program. And once again, you could post it on the social media, but also some dance studio or coffee shops, they're open. So you are welcome to bring these posters and promote it. Speaking of October, don't forget to make the last push during the October. It is another great time to promote the Reflections program. National Arts in Humanity Month raises awareness of the role of arts and humanities and place it in our community and our lives. Reflections plays an impactful role in students and families, as we all know, and also our communities. Another great opportunity to build the relationship with your local organization outside of school and business, and so that they can also support arts. So the October, you still have an opportunity. All right. So now you have understood what to offer, getting ready for students to participate, and then promoted. The student had submitted your entries by end of October or early November. Now it's time for judging, organizing for judging. The judging process is to determine which student entries will advance to the next round of judging and to award other prizes and recognition. So let's review some procedures. So the student entries has, you might be already familiar, you find the grade division, the arts categories, and that way you can organize your entries accordingly. How do we find the judges? You might want to start really early, like right now. You might already have somebody in the mind that to ask for. Digital judging will be time-saving, their time and our time. There are great tips for virtual judging and how to host the virtual program document that I mentioned earlier. Utilize the tool that CT has, such as judging rubrics and scorecard. When it comes to find judges, be sure to have somebody who has an interested knowledge of the category, but remember, Reflections program is not a contest. So it is important that somebody understands the kid's point of view will be included as a judge. Here is the judge's guidelines. As you can see, this is a sample judging rubric. And National PTA and Texas PTA focusing on the interpretation of the theme. As I mentioned earlier, the program is not the competition or contest. So be sure to communicate judges that the Reflections program is focusing on the interpretation of the theme. And actually, when it comes to the final decision, that you have two pieces, receive the same score from judges, to the tiebreaker, you can also utilize the interpretation of the theme that you find the student entry form. All right, so here are the chart of award level. Most local PTAs uses this level of award with award of excellence as the entries that advance to the next level. And you can pick 20% from each categories so that you can advance maximum amount. And we use these award levels instead of first or second or third so that we can recognize more students. And just want to remind that at this participation award, it is local and council, and it is your decision that if you want to include participation award. At the high school level, I would like to encourage that just to participate in the Reflections program on top of what they have to do already, you might consider just to do the first three. And just to give the token of celebration of participating, so that you can decide however you like to utilize these awards. All right. So here is the submission of entry record. Now you finish the judging, and at the council level, you are getting ready to packing up, send it to Texas judging. At local level, you finally finished and turn everything on to the council. So before you take everything off your hand, it is important you go back to the Texas PTA reflections page and record your submission record. So you can find this online participation summary at the reflections page. Finally, after you do this, you will start seeing the light in the tunnel of busy 2 months. It's time to celebrate. We all have to add some new way to celebrate and recognize your participants this year. Celebrating offers positive recognition and encouragement for students to feel more confident and engage in their own learning. Celebration events also provide your PTA with an opportunity to engage all families and connect with greater school community. I want to mention you about National PTA School of Excellence program actually, which is a recognition program that supports and celebrates participants between PTAs and schools to enrich the educational excellence and overall well-being for all students. Sounds familiar? Reflections program fits perfect their action plan. So I encourage you to check in the National PTA website for National PTA School of Excellence. All right, so the way of celebrating, there are many ways. You can utilize the social media, of course. And actually, you might want to ask teachers or city council or school board for you to join. First, you need to ask the permission, and then maybe want to share the celebration part of reflections program. And that might be the only way they might be exposed to reflections program. So create an opportunity of celebration. Some of you might be already doing this, but plan the walkthrough ceremony or drive-through handout of awards. There are many opportunities that you can utilize. Some other ways to celebrate is we can also reach out to the communities. I believe the libraries are already open. You could ask them to exhibit some of the arts. Or you can create the virtual galleries on your council or local PTA website. But be sure to keep track of students' entries and return the entries to each student. You may be having the award ceremony in spring, and this is why Reflections program aligns with the National PTA School of Excellence program, because they are looking at something that you're doing the year around. All right, so we are getting toward the end of my presentation. Oh yes, do not forget to thank everybody, judges, staff members, and including your volunteers. We all learn from each year, especially this year, we are still learning. Your program only gets better by reflecting what went well or what can be improved. get ready for the next year, the 2021-2022. Reflections again coming. The theme is I will change the world by. That's submitted by a student in the state of Utah. So I thank you so much, and I hope you have a great reflections year this year. So we are ready for questions. Carrie, if you have seen any questions that we can discuss together, we'd like to take those.
I think I've answered a lot of them in the chat, posted a lot of links. So pretty much all the resources that you're looking for are going to be on our website on the Leader Resources page. I've posted that a few times. People are asking about how to share artworks with judges safely. At the state level, we utilize Google Drive. You can organize the folders by category, age group, and then send that, just share that folder with your judges and provide them with a digital scorecard, which we also have a sample on the website. To make it more blind judging, Risa went over this, you could change the name to a numbering system. Just keep track of that on your end so that you know which number goes with which student. Organization is going to be key with this moving to digital and trying to keep track of everything.
Something that I have done when I was a council chair, that we have uploaded all the film entries onto the YouTube and just direct judges to go there. And you can organize in a YouTube video or YouTube channel the grade by grade. And they can see film entries, dance entries. We have even uploaded the literature in the past. So the possibilities are there.
Yes. Someone was asking how to find their district chairs. If you don't know how to connect with your council, you can reach out to me. My email is cmays@txpta.org. So that's CMAYS@txpta.org. You could also reach out to Risa. Her email's right there on the screen, or you can email programs department. I think you've been receiving emails. That's where you, when you signed up for this class, if you just send an email there, it also gets to me. Someone was asking, does the school set up judging with just the entries at the school level, or does the school send entries to the council in their district for judging? Each level of judging would set up their own judging. So the school would judge their entries. They need to find their own judges. You want to find people that kind of know what they're looking at, but not someone who's going to judge so harshly that they don't understand that this is a child's entry and this is not a contest. This is a program to promote the arts. So we don't want to discourage any young artists. So as long as they keep that in mind and that the interpretation of the theme is the highest criterion, then you should be good to go. And someone did post in the chat that they switched teachers, maybe art teachers with a neighboring school, because sometimes art teachers can recognize a student's artwork even without seeing the name. If the student's in their class, they might recognize the work. So if you switch teachers with a neighboring school, then you avoid that, because you want to keep your judging as above board as possible. A bunch of questions are coming in, and I know that we may not have time for all of them. So if you continue to put your chat messages into the chat, I'll continue answering. And when we post this on the website, I'll include all of these answers on there. And that was one of the questions. Yes, we will be posting this recording along with the slides so that you can go back later and reference them. Could NHS members at a feeder high school be used as judges? Yes, higher level would be good. Absolutely. Especially if they've been in like art for however many years. but you would want higher level high schoolers to judge younger. You want the age difference to be pretty wide there. Will there be an entry form? How many judges would be needed for the school level? You would try to look for at least 2 per age group, and judges can judge more than one group. So depending on how many entries you receive, you don't want to overload your judges, maybe no more than 50 per judge, 50 entries per judge. So if you have some small little judging groups, little entry groups that need to be judged, you could ask that judge to judge multiple. I feel like
I just had in the past that when I was the local chair, I remember I had a music teacher who was so passionate about the photography. So instead of having her judge the music, I just used her interest. So you might want to, utilize the teachers, but in a different way. Also, I also wanted to say that when you recruit the judges, the judging doesn't have to be happens on the same day, especially the virtually. They can just judge it whenever the time works for them. Right? So that's actually a great thing.
Absolutely. All right. For someone posted for literature, they use the librarian at the public library. That's a good suggestion for a judge. You can also look towards sometimes retirement area homes or apartments. There's tons of retired teachers and artists out there that have time on their hands. So utilize your community.
Yeah, I think that's really a great way. It brighten up their lives, and also it's a great way to communicate. And once again, you might want to talk about the PTA, why it is important. So
yes. Book editors, people are putting lots of suggestions to find judges in the chat.
Oh, great.
Let's see if I can find another question. You guys were very great at filling up the chat feeds.
Yeah, thank you. This is so exciting. I've seen that there are over 200 people joined in at the beginning. When we have the meeting at the lunch, we cannot, the room cannot fit that many people. So this is a great way. So I am so glad you joined us. Thank you so very much.
Yes. Someone did say one of their most frequently asked questions is when music is used in the background of a media or a choreography, do they have to use public music? And the answer is no, they can use any music as long as they give the artist credit on the student entry form. There's a place on there to provide the name of the song, the artist. So as long as they give them credit, then they are good to go.
Speaking of dance, I just want to remind everybody, a lot of times the student feels like they have to be the dancer, but they can actually choreograph. This is a dance choreography. So they can choreograph the dance and have mom and dad dance. That's perfectly fine. So especially everybody is home right now, so utilize their family members to be a fun project.
Absolutely. I do, before we go too far, I wanted to share the survey link. We are asking for feedback from today's session, and if you could please, I think I shared it privately. Let me do that again. If you could please share your feedback and anything you would like to share with us that we could help you out with in the future. There's places to add your information there, your comments. And also Risa will be presenting again at launch this October. She'll be presenting the arts and education basics. And if you are not already signed up for launch, we have lots of programs workshops, breakout sessions that would be great information for you to hear. We would love to have you. So there is a link to register.
Here's a question. Do you recommend that we print application and send to the entire school? If Carrie, if you have not
Print the what?
Print application, I guess the student.
Oh, the student application.
Yeah.
Well, you could email it out. It is a fillable PDF, so they don't even have to print it out if they just want to fill it out and then email it back to you, or
yeah. So you can email them.
You can do it completely digitally. We are accepting typed in signatures. Both Texas and National PTA are accepting typed in signatures, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm collecting actual signatures. Okay.
Let's see.
Promoting exclusively virtual. We are allowing virtual. Someone's asking if we suggest promoting exclusively virtual. It depends on where you are and what your school district is doing. A lot of school districts are doing virtual only, or they're doing some sort of hybrid, and you can be just as flexible with your reflections program. Definitely work with the families. If all they can do is submit a virtual entry, email it to you, then please accept it. If all they can do is go and drop off a flash drive to you, please accept it. Just flexibility is going to be key,
Yes.
which we've learned over the past few months.
That's right.
Just roll with the punches.
I just saw the Texas PTA President Susie Cannon is here. Thank you, Susie, for joining us. She said, I can't wait to see all the entries. Oh, you can read that actually. So yeah, the kids really always amazes us. So I can't wait either. All right.
Need to fix the survey link.
How do we as a council forward on the virtual entries to state? So at the council level, once again, so at the council level, judging and collecting, you can do virtually. However, the selected pieces that are moving forward to the Texas PTA, we do have to have the physical entries. So council level, you do have to create the way to collect the entries from the individuals. You can do drive-through or designated time to drop it off, or the volunteers go pick it up, or the way it works best for you. But Texas PTA do have to have a physical entry. So hope that answered your question. Okay, do we have to make a hard copies of the literature, dance and film, or Texas PTA order for the virtual? It's all of them. So of course, dance and film, they are always, they are in this, what do you call this, drive. So it's a digital to begin with, but the literature, visual art, photography, those has to be the physical form. Okay, let's see. Was this session recorded? Yes, it has.
I had a quick query about the submission date. I saw that it was before Thanksgiving. You recommend collecting the entries and getting the results by that time for forwarding it?
Oh, okay. So if you are local leaders, so you do have to you have to meet the due date for the council level. So that was just a sample timeline. So when I was the local, I always set the due date to at the end of October. So I have at least 3 or 4 weeks before the council due date. And I did the judging before Thanksgiving. And then during the Thanksgiving, I either rested and energized a little bit or going through the entries to make sure which one is moving on. And the early December was our council due date. So I organized so that I could drop it off right after Thanksgiving.
Someone's asking about past winners. If we have on our website a gallery, it's a Flickr account is what it is. And if you go to the reflections page, it's on the landing page, actually, if you just go to txpta.org/reflections, there is a gallery link in there, and it has past winners for probably the last 4 or 5 years in there. And those are all students that were awarded at the state level. If there's something specific you're looking, you can email me and I can look it up. I may not have all entries that, especially if they weren't awarded at the state level, because we tend to purge a lot. Otherwise, it's a lot of entries. But I can try and help you out there if you're looking for something specific. And someone's asking about things that came to state last year. We sent all of those entries back to the council coordinators back in June. It was late because we were all shut down for a few months. So those were sent back in June, and because it was already summer, I'm sure a lot of those entries are just sitting at the council houses somewhere. But please reach out to your council coordinator from last year, and they should be able to let you know or meet up with you. I'm sure they're still trying to figure out how to get those back to you. So just reach out to them. If you need help reaching out to who that was, just send me an email and I can connect you with them. And yeah, someone posted National has a gallery as well. Theirs is also a Flickr account. And I think we are at our time.
Yeah. I recommend that you visit the national galleries. It is just amazing what kids from other states are doing. So just
Really?
the last question, somebody was asking that, so that you do the local judging and then you will only advance the ones that are moving on. So which is the recipient of the award of excellence and top 20% of each category. So you do the judging, you collect those 20% and then send it to the council level.
That's correct.
Okay.
All right. You want to wrap it up?
Sure. Thank you so very much again. Thank you. And I hope, I know that there are so many more questions, and so do not hesitate to send us an email if you have any questions or ideas that you'd like to share. We will find a way to share those ideas. Carrie, those chat will be like posted in some place like we
will
did
be
in the summer?
Yep, on the Leader Resources.
Okay, wonderful. All right, well, have a great rest of the afternoon and also rest of the week. And once again, don't forget, this is the Arts in Education Week. So the time to promote and celebrate the arts. So thanks again and have a great day. And see you soon.